There is a sacred rhythm that underlies all of life. It is not taught in schools, not captured in textbooks, not spoken of in the noise of everyday conversation. And yet it pulses beneath everything, beneath your breath, beneath your heartbeat, beneath every desire you have ever felt. It is the rhythm of the divine, quietly orchestrating the dance of galaxies and guiding every blade of grass as it reaches for the Sunday. You too are part of that sacred rhythm. You are not separate from it. You are not an observer of it. You are it. You are a living, breathing note in the music of the infinite. But how easily we forget. We fall asleep to our own divinity. We believe we are separate, alone, incomplete. We live as though the power that moves worlds is something we must chase, rather than something we already carry. We have been conditioned to strive, to achieve, to control. But manifestation is not a game of control. It is a practice of surrender, a return, a softening into the truth that what we seek is already seeking us. And more than that, it already exists within us. Manifestation is not about forcing life to bend to your will. It is about remembering that your will, when aligned with the divine, becomes effortless. Like water flowing downhill, like light piercing the darkness, like breath returning to the lungs. You do not need to make it happen. You need only to allow it. And you allow it by aligning not with your fears, not with your doubts, not with the small self that believes in lack, but with the boundless, limitless self that knows no separation from source. This is the great secret of instant manifestation. It is not about getting more. It is about becoming still enough to recognize that you already are more than enough. The universe does not respond to your words. It responds to your state, to your vibration, to your alignment. When you are aligned with truth, with love, with gratitude, with inner stillness, then life rises to meet you in ways that appear miraculous. But they are not miracles. They are simply the natural outcome of being who you truly are. The ego will always tell you that you are lacking. It will whisper that you are not ready, not worthy, not yet complete. It will point to the future and say, when you get there, then you can relax. But the soul knows better. The soul knows that everything you desire, peace, love, joy, abundance, is not found in the distance. It is found in the now, in the depth of this moment, in the quiet space where your thoughts grow still and your being becomes spacious. When you align with the divine, you stop resisting what is. You stop grasping. You stop manipulating. And instead, you listen. You listen with your heart, with your intuition, with your entire being. You feel the subtle tug of truth beneath the noise of the world, and you follow it, not with desperation, but with trust, not with effort, but with grace. You were never meant to chase your dreams like a beggar at the gates of life. You are meant to stand in the knowing that you are one with the dreamer himself. The same power that paints the sunset, that stirs the wind, that spins the stars, that power breathes through you. It does not need to be summoned. It only needs to be remembered. And so I ask you, beloved soul, what if you stop striving? What if you stop seeking outside of yourself for the very thing that already lives within? What if your only task was to return again and again to the stillness of your own heart, to trust that your alignment is enough, to know that when you rest in that sacred space, life unfolds not as a struggle, but as a symphony. The seed does not strive to become the tree. It allows. It trusts. It lets the sunlight in, the rain fall, the earth hold it, and in that trust, it becomes what it was always destined to be. You too are that seed. And the divine is not asking you to prove yourself. It is asking you to remember yourself, to know that your desires are not random. They are echoes of your soul's remembrance of what is already true. You do not manifest by pleading with the universe. You manifest by becoming the vibration of the thing you seek. You do not attract what you want. You attract what you are. So who are you willing to become? Not someday, not when it's convenient. But now, let go of the idea that your past determines your future. Let go of the belief that you must earn your worth. Let go of the illusion that you are separate from the source of all creation. And remember that the universe does not speak in words. It speaks in feeling, in frequency, in alignment. And when you align with the divine, when you sit in silence and feel the sacred current of love that has never stopped flowing through you, then you are no longer trying to manifest. You are manifesting because manifestation is not an act. It is a state of being. The mind will always ask, what must I do? It is obsessed with strategies, with tactics, with action. But the soul does not speak the language of doing. The soul speaks in the language of being. And this is the essence of alignment, not a frantic rush toward a goal, but a sacred stillness that knows the goal is already within. Imagine the Sunday. It does not rise because it tries. It does not shine because it earned permission. It shines because that is its nature. And you too were created to shine not through force, but through essence, not through striving, but through remembering. To align with the divine is to surrender your small will into the infinite wisdom of life itself. It is to say, I no longer resist what is. I no longer need to be anything other than who I truly am. And in that surrender, you become a vessel open, clear, ready. Ready not just to receive, but to radiate. Ready not just to manifest things, but to embody truth. What the ego calls manifestation is often just glorified grasping. But what the soul calls manifestation is resonance, harmony, co-creation. When you are aligned, you are not waiting for life to happen to you. You are participating in the sacred unfolding of it. Each moment becomes a brushstroke in a masterpiece that the divine is painting through your very existence. But the mind is impatient. It will demand proof. It will ask, where is it? Why hasn't it happened yet? It will use the passing of time as evidence against your worth. But time is not the measure of alignment. Presence is. And the present moment, this breath, this heartbeat, this stillness is the only point of power you will ever have. There is no power in the past. There is no power in the imagined future. There is only power here, in this now. And when you claim this now, when you inhabit it fully, without resistance, then all that is aligned with your soul begins to move toward you. Not because you chased it, but because you became it. The divine is not somewhere far away, deciding whether or not to bless you. The divine is within you, as you, through you. It is your breath. It is your awareness. It is the quiet hum beneath all your thoughts. And when you drop beneath the noise of the ego, you enter the field of miracles. Not because the world changed, but because your perception did. You begin to see that abundance is not something to acquire, it is something to allow. Love is not something to find, it is something to express. Peace is not something to reach, it is something to remember. The most powerful manifester is not the one who controls the most, but the one who surrenders the deepest, who dares to trust the unseen, who listens not with their ears, but with their being, who walks not by fear, but by inner knowing. You will not always understand the timing, you will not always see the path, but if you trust deeply, reverently, without demand, then life will reveal itself to you in ways you could never have planned. Because alignment opens doors that effort could never find. And so the real question is not, what do you want to manifest? The real question is, who must you become to allow what is already yours? You are not here to create a life of empty achievement. You are here to become a living expression of the divine, to walk this world as a radiant reminder of what it means to live from truth, to breathe from love, to speak from wisdom. And when you live like that, when your vibration becomes a match for the highest version of reality, then manifestation is not something you do. It is something that happens through you, effortlessly, naturally, instantly, because alignment is instant. It is the moment you say yes to your own soul. And in that yes, all things are made possible. There comes a moment, if you are still long enough, when you feel it, an unexplainable peace that does not depend on the outside world. It rises from within like a forgotten melody that was always playing, only drowned out by the static of thought. In that stillness you remember, you are not separate from the field of creation. You are not a beggar at the gates of heaven, you are the gates, and you are heaven. You are the portal through which the divine expresses itself into form. But this world has trained you otherwise. It taught you to seek approval, to prove your worth, to measure your value against ever-changing standards. And so we learn to strive, to compete, to control. We become performers on a stage, forgetting the stage itself was built upon sacred ground. We lose sight of the truth, that manifestation does not begin in the mind, but in the stillness before the mind. Not in the story, but in the silence. And so the invitation is not to think more powerful thoughts. It is to return to the space before thought, to the source, to the vast, boundless awareness that was there before you ever learned your name. to that which watches the play of your life unfold without judgment, without resistance, without fear. This awareness, this presence is the divine, not a being in the sky, but a being within you. Not a force to be manipulated, but a current to be trusted. When you align with this, you stop trying to manifest through the mind and begin manifesting through resonance. You become a tuning fork for the frequencies of love, peace, and abundance. And what you resonate with, you receive not because you demanded it, but because you remembered who you are. You are not here to force the world to bend to your will. You are here to dissolve the illusion of separation so fully that the world begins to bend with you, not in submission, but in harmony. For when you are aligned, life no longer resists you. It dances with you. The river does not resist the fish. The sky does not resist the bird. And the universe does not resist the soul that remembers its place within the whole. Let yourself be like the ocean, vast, open, deep. Do not clutch at the waves of experience. Let them rise. Let them fall. You are not the wave. You are the ocean in which the wave moves. You are not your thoughts, your emotions, your circumstances. You are the awareness that holds them. And that awareness is the same in all beings. It is the thread that weaves all things together. It is the divine intelligence that breathes your lungs and turns acorns into forests. When you realize this not as an idea, but as a lived truth, then you no longer seek to manifest from lack. You do not say, I need more. You say, I already am. And from that place, your desires take on a different quality. They are no longer cries of desperation, they are songs of celebration. You are not asking life to complete you. You are inviting life to express through you. This is the shift. This is alignment. This is when manifestation becomes not an act, but a byproduct. Like a flower that opens not because it forces itself to bloom, but because it aligns with the Sunday, so too do your dreams unfold when you align with your essence. But how do we do this, you ask? Not by effort, not by control, but by surrender, by release, by remembrance. Let go of the timeline, let go of the outcome, let go of the belief that you must suffer to deserve, and instead, allow yourself to be as you are, right now. Breathe into this moment as if it were holy, because it is. Every moment is sacred when seen through the eyes of truth. You are already whole, already loved, already worthy. Your alignment is not something you achieve. It is something you allow. When your heart is soft, when your mind is quiet, when your being is present, you are aligned. And when you are aligned, you are magnetic. Not to things, but to truth. Not to outcomes, but to the deepest expression of your soul. This is how the divine manifests instantly, not by calculation, but by coherence, by resonance, by vibration. You become the song, and life begins to dance. You become the light, and the path appears. You become the peace, and the chaos dissolves. You do not do this by escaping the world. You do it by fully entering it with presence, with softness, with sacred attention. When you walk aligned with the divine, the universe is no longer a test. It is a canvas, a playground, a mirror reflecting the love that lives within you. And in that state, you do not need to chase. You attract. You do not need to strive. You allow. You do not need to manipulate. You simply trust. And in that trust, everything becomes possible. There is a knowing beyond thought, a wisdom that does not speak in words. Yet when you hear it, the whole of your being responds with a calm yes. It is the whisper of the divine within you, gently inviting you back to your center. Not to solve your life, but to live it. Not to fix yourself, but to feel yourself fully, unapologetically, intimately. So much of the struggle we experience comes from forgetting this center. We are pulled into the current of appearances, the swirling storm of conditions and comparisons, and we begin to believe the lie that life is something outside of us, something to catch up to, something to control. But life is not outside you. It never was. It is happening through you, in you, as you. And manifestation, true, sacred, effortless manifestation, begins not when you master life, but when you merge with it. You are not here to conquer the world. You are here to realize you already contain it. The entire cosmos, every galaxy, every law of physics, every sacred pattern of intelligence is reflected in you. You are the microcosm of the macrocosm. the breath of eternity held within a single human form. And yet, how quickly we forget this truth. We buy into the illusion of separateness, the seductive spell of not enough. We listen to the mind's chatter, and in doing so, we drift from the divine frequency of our own soul. But your soul has never stopped calling you home. It has waited with the patience of mountains, with the softness of moonlight, with the certainty of the tide. Every desire you've ever had has been its invitation not to accumulate, but to align. So pause. Listen not with your ears, but with your being. Feel the presence beneath the words, the stillness beneath the breath. This is where alignment begins, not with action, but with awareness. Not with planning, but with presence. When you remember who you truly are, manifestation stops being an event and becomes a byproduct. Like the fragrance of a flower or the warmth of the sun, it arises effortlessly from your being. It requires no striving, no pushing, no proving. It only requires that you become inwardly clear, so rooted in truth, that all falsehoods dissolve before you like shadows before the dawn. And this clarity cannot be forced. It cannot be faked. It arises naturally when you surrender, when you release the need to be anything other than who and what you are. When you let go of trying to become and allow yourself to be, in that sacred beingness, you rediscover a power that is not of this world, though it moves through this world. It is the power of presence, the power of grace, the power of divine alignment. Do not underestimate this power. It is the same force that moves planets, splits atoms, and brings stars into being. And it does not speak in thunder. It does not shout to be heard. It arrives in the hush, in the reverence, in the deep surrender of your spirit back to itself. You are not separate from this power. You are made of it. Your cells, your breath, your heartbeat all form from the intelligence of Source. You are not a creation apart from the Creator. You are the Creator in form, experiencing its own expansion through you. And this is why your desires matter. Not because they are trophies, but because they are the compass of your soul. They are not random. They are not selfish. They are sacred. They are the way the divine seeks to know itself through you. So when you long for peace, you are not chasing a fantasy, you are remembering your origin. When you yearn for love, you are not lacking, you are realigning with truth. When you dream of abundance, you are not greedy, you are awakening to the infinite nature of your being. Desire, when purified of ego, becomes holy. It becomes the voice of the divine, calling you back into coherence with itself. And manifestation, then, is not about manipulating reality to satisfy a fleeting want. It is about embodying the vibration of your soul's truest resonance so completely that life has no choice but to echo it back to you. This is the law, not a law of attraction, but a law of reflection. The world is your mirror. It cannot give you what you are unwilling to become. It cannot show you what you refuse to see within yourself. So if you seek love, become love. If you desire abundance, embody gratitude. If you wish for peace, live from stillness. When your inner world becomes congruent with your desires, the outer world begins to rearrange itself in response. Not because you forced it, but because you aligned with the divine blueprint already written in your soul. And the beauty of this path is that nothing is missing, not one tool, not one step, not 1 ounce of worthiness. You already have all that is required. You already are all that is required. Your task is not to add more. Your task is to release the noise, the masks, the fear, and to return. Return to the center. Return to presence. Return to truth. This is the way of effortless manifestation. This is the vibration of miracles. Not dramatic, not loud, but deeply, reverently real. And when you live from this place, the universe becomes not your master, but your mirror. And that mirror will reflect wonders you never dreamed possible. There is a moment when you no longer seek miracles because you realize you are one. You are not the result of chance, nor the outcome of effort. You are the deliberate, loving extension of the infinite. You were whispered into existence by the divine, not to struggle, not to strive, but to reveal. Reveal beauty. Reveal truth. Reveal the eternal dance of Source through the art of your life. And when you truly feel this, not just think it, but feel it in your bones, then manifestation becomes inevitable. Not because you forced it to happen, but because you remembered who you were before the world taught you to forget. This remembrance is the doorway. It is the invitation. It is the sacred space where alignment and creation meet. But the world, in its well-meaning noise, taught you otherwise. It taught you to earn what you already are, to strive for what you already possess, to search for what has never been missing. And so you forgot not out of failure, but out of innocence. You began to believe that joy lives in the next moment, that peace waits in the next achievement, that love is the reward for perfection. But the soul knows otherwise. The soul knows that joy is presence, that peace is surrender, that love is not the finish line, but the foundation. You do not manifest love by seeking it. You manifest love by becoming the place where love is welcome, where love is safe, where love is felt so deeply within you that it begins to emanate from your pores, from your silence, from the very way you breathe. Likewise, abundance is not something you attract by obsessing over money. Abundance is a frequency, a deep inner yes to life. A knowing that all your needs are met, not because you have counted every coin, but because you have aligned with the source that creates all coins, all wealth, all provision. True abundance is not having more. It is needing less because you have remembered your union with the source of all. This is the paradox of alignment. The less you chase, the more you receive. The more you release, the more you allow. The more you rest in being, the more life flows toward you with grace. To the ego, this seems like nonsense. It will scream, do more, try harder, hustle. And if you follow that voice, you may indeed gain, but what you gain will never satisfy because it was born from lack. What you manifest from fear only amplifies fear. What you create from pressure only multiplies pressure. But what you manifest from alignment lasts, heals, expands, because it comes from wholeness. So I ask you now, who are you when there is nothing to prove? Who are you when you no longer chase outcomes but embody truth? Who are you when your identity is not built on achievement but on essence? The moment you step into that knowing, the entire fabric of your life begins to change. Not all at once, not with fanfare, but like a dawn rising slowly, light touching every shadow, warmth replacing every chill. People you once struggled to please fall away effortlessly. Opportunities that felt impossible begin to show up without effort. Paths you didn't even know existed begin to unfold beneath your feet, not because you planned it, but because you aligned with it. This is not magic. This is law. The law of resonance, the law of vibration, the law of inner truth reflecting outer experience. You do not receive what you pray for in desperation. You receive what you are in alignment with. So if you want to shift your life, shift your state, shift your story, shift your frequency. This does not mean pretending to be happy. It means being honest enough to sit with what is, to hold it, to bless it, and to rise from it with clarity. There is no manifestation without presence. There is no alignment without truth. You must be willing to feel what you've avoided, to release what no longer fits, to grieve the versions of yourself that were born from survival, not soul. And then, in the sacred space left behind, you begin again. But this time not from force, not from fantasy, but from alignment, from presence, from truth, from divine essence. And in that sacred space, the impossible becomes inevitable. And so it is, after all the searching, the reaching, the striving, you arrive back here, back to the center that never moved, back to the quiet fire of your own being, back to the presence that asked for nothing, yet held everything. You begin to see that the journey was never about gathering, but about shedding. Not about becoming greater, but about remembering how vast you already are. Not about fixing what was broken, but about revealing what was always whole. This is the alignment the soul speaks of not as a destination, but as a state, a vibration. A sacred attunement with the frequency of all that is. It is the great return, not to a version of yourself that fits the world's mold, but to the self that existed before the world wrote its name on your skin. And in this return, manifestation ceases to be a goal. It becomes a natural consequence of your being, like breath, like sunlight, like waves returning home to the sea. You don't need to try anymore. You don't need to prove. You don't need to scream your worth into a world too distracted to hear it. Your presence is enough. Your stillness is enough. Your very existence is an affirmation of the divine dreaming itself awake through you. And so the great mystery is revealed not in thunder, but in stillness. Not in power, but in surrender. Not in doing, but in allowing. Allowing yourself to be what you already are. You see now, manifestation is not a tool for the ego, it is a song of the soul. A quiet symphony that begins to play when the walls of fear dissolve and your true essence rises to the surface like dawn. It does not arrive through calculation, it arrives through coherence. When you become the vibration of peace, peace must meet you. When you become the presence of love, love must reflect you. When you become the openness of abundance, abundance must flow to you, not as reward, but as reflection. There is nothing to chase. There is only what you choose to embody. There is nothing to wait for. There is only what you choose to feel now. There is no more becoming. There is only being, and in this being, everything shifts. Your breath becomes sacred. Your thoughts grow spacious. Your energy becomes magnetic. And life, oh life, begins to mirror back the beauty you have remembered within yourself. Not as a favor, not as a fluke, but as law, as rhythm, as the inevitable unfolding of alignment. The river flows not because it pushes, but because it yields. So too must you yield, not in weakness, but in wisdom. Yield to the current of your soul. Yield to the knowing that you are already whole. Yield to the truth that what you seek has always lived within you. And from this yielded place, speak softly to your heart. I do not need to chase. I choose to align. I do not need to prove. I choose to remember. I do not need to strive. I choose to surrender, because I am already enough. Already whole, already one with the divine. And so, let this moment be your altar. Let this breath be your offering. Let your being be your prayer. You no longer need to climb to the heavens to find your power. You are the heavens, descending into form. You are the sacred walking. You are the manifestation, becoming conscious of itself. And from this knowing, miracles are not made. They are recognized because what you have longed for, what you have wept for, what you have dreamed beneath stars and screamed into pillows in the dark was never lost. It was only buried beneath the noise. And now the noise has softened. The veil has lifted. The alignment has returned. And you, holy, radiant, infinite, you have come home to yourself. There is nothing more to do. There is only everything to allow. And so it is. And so it always has been. And now, now you are free. There's a sacred law woven into the fabric of all creation, a silent knowing that the universe responds not to what we say, not to what we wish, but to what we are. And so to manifest miracles is not to plead with the heavens or to conquer the world with strategy. It is to attune your being to the frequency of the divine and to become the vibration of that which you seek. The secret ingredient is not effort, it is alignment. You were never meant to strive your way into blessings. You were meant to remember that you are the blessing. The miracle you wait for is not locked behind a distant sky or earned through some secret ritual. It is released the moment you return to your essence. And your essence is not lack or fear or doubt. Your essence is light. It is awareness. It is love expressing itself through the experience of being you. When you think of miracles, you may picture dramatic shifts, sudden windfalls, inexplicable healings. But miracles are not interruptions in the laws of the universe. They are the laws remembered. They are the natural outcome of living in harmony with your truest nature. The seed doesn't need to strive to become the tree. It unfolds, it allows, it trusts, and so too must you. The ego will tell you that you must control every detail, that you must micromanage the divine, that your worth must be proven before life blesses you. But the soul knows better. The soul knows that the river does not force its way forward, it flows, it moves with grace. And when you stop pushing, when you stop resisting the moment as it is, you begin to move with life rather than against it. And in that movement, miracles happen not by demand, but by design. Let go of the idea that you must fix yourself to deserve goodness. The oak tree does not ask the wind if it's worthy to sway. The ocean does not beg the moon for permission to rise. You, in your barest form, without your masks, without your striving, are already enough. You are already whole. And it is from this place of wholeness that miracles are born. The universe does not speak in words. It speaks in energy. It speaks in frequency.